So it happened that the battle over Caruthers Canyon concluded with a decisive victor, the town of Silverwood. The actions of three outsiders, the courier, Russell, and Glanton, had irrevocably changed the canyon. With their tribe decimated by Glanton, the remaining sand wolves fled Caruthers Canyon, forever traumatized by the destruction of their kin. Though few in number, the survivors swore an oath to enact vengeance on Glanton and the courier who failed to stop him.
With the canyon securely in NCR hands, Silverwood quickly developed into a regional hub for mining and commerce. Settlers from across California flocked to the town, eager to share in its prosperity. Civilization had made its mark. Within a few years, most of the townsfolk had never heard of the Sandwolves, though a few would never forget. Eventually, word of a great duel in Utah reached town. Travelers said the courier had died, then rose again to fight the man in black. The people of Silverwood prayed for the courier, though they feared the worst.
Unable to overcome his inner demons, Vickers succumbed to chem abuse not long after his meeting with the courier. He would be buried in an unmarked grave near Freeside.
Slain in the bowels of Cholla Mountain, Hendershot's piece of the arms trade would die with him. The Van Graffs quickly moved to secure his clients and solidify their position in the Mojave.
Though disillusioned with their lot in the Mojave, Finley remained loyal to the Khans, if only out of respect to his late friend Chance. In his private moments, he hoped to live long enough to see the Khans revitalized, mercifully destroyed.
Reveling in the defense of Silverwood, Charlie's bravery was lauded by the townspeople of Silverwood. However, without service records to authenticate his past deeds, Charlie remained homeless and unemployed. Though the citizens of Silverwood warmed to Charlie, he grew bitter at the lack of opportunities. Shortly after the battle, he took his own life. With his newly arrived service records in hand, Charlie immediately became a respected figure in Silverwood. As the previous sheriff had abandoned his office, a collection of citizens urged Charlie to run. Though initially hesitant, he eventually agreed and won in a landslide victory. Hobo Charlie was no more. He was now Sheriff Charlie.
Shrewdly avoiding the battle with the Legion, Miss Cat continued servicing throngs of enthusiastic clients. Unfortunately, the peace came at a price. As more families moved in, ordinances against prostitution eventually compelled her to move on. After leaving town, she traveled to New Reno, where she was rumored to thrive as a fluffer in the pornographic film industry.
Having fallen to Russell's knife, Mayor Brandon was given an obligatory funeral service, even though the townsfolk held him in contempt. His term as mayor would eventually be commemorated with an ornate toilet constructed in the town hall.
Taking the courier's advice to heart, Sullivan applied for a foreman position, and to his surprise, he was promoted. Known as a fair, competent supervisor, Sullivan had a bright future in the company. Unfortunately, his life was cut short by a cave-in. He would be buried in a nondescript grave outside of town.
Irrevocably altered by the crucible of battle, Parmley looked beyond himself for the first time in his life. Determined to make a difference, he enlisted with the NCR, eventually earning the title of Ranger. Serving in multiple theaters with distinction, Parmley had almost forgotten the courier when he heard about a duel in the mountains of Utah. Another ranger told Parmley that the courier had died, and then was resurrected, only to fight the devil himself. Unsure what to believe, Parmley would say a prayer for the courier, but hesitated to hope.
With the blood of the Sandwolves dripping from his blade, Glanton and his gang set out for new frontiers. Travelers spoke about him in hushed tones, mentioning distant tribes scalped, whole villages destroyed. Others said he went to Utah. They spoke of an unholy alliance, then whispered another name, Markham.
What began as a simple bounty job had grown into a powerful experience for Russell, one which would forever alter his identity and outlook. Though he still longed to see the return of the Desert Rangers, Russell's time with the courier had softened his outlook on the Mojave wasteland. While he hesitated to trust the courier, Russell knew he'd found a kindred spirit, someone he could count on in coming battles. Though Russell would remain haunted by the massacre of the Sandwolves, he found peace with the demise of his former owner, Titus Vulcanus. Russell hoped he would be able to repay the courier somehow, though he suspected it wouldn't take long. He knew that their greatest challenges were waiting in the Mojave Wasteland and in distant lands. Because war never changes.